Hi, dear friends and followers. Welcome back to Officer Aerospy YouTube channel. So today's topic is relating to the compensation regarding the air crash happened, which is Air India 171 recently. Okay, so there are many of the speculations coming up that the Tata Group and the Air India has released 1.25 CR of Indian rupees to the deceased families and many more things. So let's understand how this compensation works. So, whenever an incident or an accident happens, unfortunately, so who is liable for all these stuffs? So, because let's not make it in a wrong way to give the wrong information to the people who are already suffering from it. And I have seen many of the social medias has talking about the ex gratia given by the Air India and whatnot. Okay, so this video is specially made to make you clear that when did this process of compensation came into existence whenever the crash happened and how it is followed, everything. Okay, so let's understand in a correct way. Join with me in this video and be with me for some time to understand these concepts. Friends, we all know that the worst air crash incident happened on 12th June 2025, which is Air India Flight 171, which scheduled and took from the Ahmedabad airport to London Gatwick Airport. It was on the runway at 13:39 Indian Standard Time, and the Boeing 787 Dreamliner flight crashed after 30 seconds of takeoff on VJ Medical College in Meghalaya. It included 230 passengers on board with 12 crew members, and on the hostel side, 19 people on the ground were killed, with 60 plus people got severe injuries. To understand these investigations, many of the government authorities have given rights to investigate for the National Transport Safety Board as well as the airline crash investigation agencies. But whenever the crash happened, the meta report says that the surface winds were very normal, about 3 to 6 nautical miles, with a visibility of 6 kilometers with no clouds. But still, we consider airline as the safest means of transportation. But unfortunately, this incident happened, and now the airline operators have been thrust onto the social medias. But we agree the airline operator has the turnaround time, and we believe that they uphold the safety of each and every aspect in the aviation sector. So, in this video, let's understand how the airline operator is responsible after the accidents or incident happens, and how these compensations given by the airline operator can be claimed, and what are all the rules and regulations who governs this. So before 1929 and before that, so there was a new advent of the aviation technology and everything came into existence. Okay, so we all know that how it worked, and we never experienced about the severe air crashes due to any possible way of reasons maybe. And what happened in 1929 is who will rule and who will regulate these accidents or incidents to minimize them. So what happened is all countries collectively has signed a convention called as Warsaw Convention. So WARSAW, Warsaw Convention in 1929. So what it exactly means is, so whenever a airline operator experiences any of the crash or accidents within any part of the territory of the world, so the people who have lost their lives as well as severely injured should get the compensation. So what exactly is the compensation is? So the compensation is fixed in the terms of special deliverable rights. So SDR is what the term used by the people back then there. Why it is used? Because many countries have a different currencies. So now what happens is if a person dies, unfortunately, and he got a compensation of what amount? And it's supposed to be in a dollars or supposed to be in what exactly the value of the compensation. So to make it as a universal thing, the SDR term has been used, and this was mentioned in the Warsaw Convention. So what exactly the Warsaw Convention says is, so whenever uh, incident or accident happens, when a passenger loses their life, or the baggage, or the cargo, or any of these belongings with the passengers, the airline operator should compensate them in the monetary fund. So in the Warsaw Convention, the incidents when they were reported, there should be a report in the paperworks. So back in this, in 1929 and 50s around, there were no electronic evidences which valid for the investigations. So that is why they used as a paperworks, and many of the countries have signed it. But India in 2009, it signed one more convention which is called as the Montreal Convention. So, what exactly is the Montreal Convention? So, let's see that. So, whenever a law is made and it is said to be signed by any of the countries, so there should be an investigations before. So, in between from 1929 to 1999, so there were series of events which took place, which were even worse than what happened today. Okay. So, depending upon these incidents, there were ratifications made, there were modifications made to the earlier Warsaw Convention, 1929. So, which already called as Montreal Convention in 1999. So, what exactly the Montreal Convention is different from the Warsaw? Because the Montreal Convention in 1999 was signed by 134 countries as of now. Okay. So, India signed it in 2009 as 91st country to sign the Montreal Convention. So, in the Montreal Convention, the rule remains the same. The people, the passenger, maybe died in the incident, or maybe severely injured, or lost the baggages or the cargoes, the airline operator should compensate them in the monetary funding. So, in the Warsaw Convention earlier, only 16,000 SDR, special deliverable rights, 16,000 SDRs were mentioned. But in the Montreal Convention, they have revoked this to 1 lakh SDRs, right? So these SDRs in current uh, scenario is 120 rupees. So one SDR is equal to 120 rupees. The same goes to all the currencies of all the countries. So this is what has happened in the Montreal Convention 1999, and electronic evidences were accepted after the incident happened. Montreal Convention 1999. So let's understand this. This is the rule made by International Civil Aviation Organization, which regulates the liability limit to the air carrier in respect of the passengers, the injuries, which may be very severe at any point of time, and even the deaths caused by these accidents. It may be relating to the cargoes which are carried by the airline operator, or it may be any of the damages or destroyed under the air travel. So this has been given by the Montreal Convention in 1999, even for the missing of the baggages. And it includes the provision of special drawing rights. Let's understand this, what the special drawing right means. And on 16 Feb 2025, this is the numericals. So when India signed this Montreal Convention 1999 in 2009, okay, so India became the 91st country to have the signatory. So now what happens is all the airlines which are operating from India to any of the world, any of the territories of the world, should include all the rules and regulations mentioned in the Montreal Convention. So according to that, comparing to the recent uh, study of Air India 171 crash, the Air India has released the total SDRs of 128821. Okay, this is the figure given by the officials. So 128821 SDRs have been requested for the compensation to the families. So this means, so one SDR is equal to 120 rupees as of now. So this is what is the figure given. And when you convert those amounts into the Indian rupees, it becomes the compensation of 1 crore Indian rupees for per person who died in the accident. Okay. So the Air India has requested the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. So, who releases these compensation? So, this is released by the International Monetary Fund or the insurance companies which are in relation with the Air India. Okay. So, this is the only request which has been raised, and it takes a longer time to have the insurance done and give the money to the deceased families. But how does it work as of now for the urgency of the matter? How the deceased family take care of the medical expenses and who have the greater injuries, severe injuries in the accident, how they can claim it. So that's why the Tata Group has released interim and emergency relief amount of 25 lakhs to the families. So whenever these compensation is released, so in the back end, what works is the airline operator undergone an accident now. So he will raise entire investigation report and the first investigation report to the insurance company. So what insurance company does is, so insurance company will appoint an investigator and an insurer to have the facts collected regarding this accident. And he will calculate what amount of the compensation can be given to the airline operator. And this is what it is in the framework. Okay. So, and this happens according to the Montreal Convention only, because this is what it is. And the airline operator will communicate the same to the this is families. And the families have to wait to receive this compensation. Either this is the one part. The second part is if the compensation for the deceased family seems to be very less, they have to go to the court and they have to sue the operator, okay, and fight with them to prove them as a guilty and can claim the amount even greater than whatever it is mentioned as a special SDRs. And in now this incident, there are two categories. So one is the uh, accident experienced by the airline operator and the people who have died in the accident, which is 230 passengers plus 12 crew members. Okay. And the other side is on ground people. When the air crash happened in the BJ Medical College hostel, there were 19 people who died on spot and 60 people who got severely injured. So this considered as a third party claim. So the people who died on the ground is a third party claim. And the first party claim would be the passengers who were traveling with the airline operator. So what happens is Air India will directly issue the claim of the compensation to the first party, okay, as promised, because they availed the services on that. The second thing, as a third party, the airline should also give the compensation to them, and this can be even separately calculated by the insurer. I hope this video was informative and helpful for you guys, because whenever these accident happens, many people in India, they don't know what to do because of the situation. And nowadays, the social media is so vast that many people will receive moreover the fake informations rather than having the correct informations. So go to the websites of the government and read the policies regarding that. And of course, the airline operators will 100% take the assurance to have the compensation claimed on time. Okay. So let's pray these unfortunate incidents will not happen on our soil or any territory of the world, because we need health and prosperity and the peace in the world. So with this note, I'm signing off, your officer Aerospy. So let's meet in the next video for more interesting topics.